the hidden reason why women consistently friend zone good men like yourself. If you keep getting friend zoned, you might have women in your life, but they're never intimately connecting with you. They don't seem to see you as a romantic option. And I want to just tell you, mate, this is mind-numbingly frustrating, isn't it? I've worked with many men as a men's coach who struggle with this problem. It's not because you're too short, it's not because you're unattractive, and it's not because you're not making enough money. Don't let the alpha bros fool you. So the first reason why you might be getting friend zoned, my brother, is something I used to do all the time and I didn't realize it. You are acting like her therapist. Maybe on some level you think that by being nice and courteous and like an emotional sort of cushion for her, you might think that the proximity of that, just because she's getting close to you and divulging certain information to you, maybe she's even talking about other men and her relationship struggles, etc. On some level, you were convinced when you were younger that to be this guy, to be her therapist, to be an emotional punching bag in some way, would eventually lead to getting intimate with her. But this was wrong. You were taught a wrong thing there. That's not actually what happens. It's actually the opposite of what happens. It's the opposite of what works. Because when you're her emotional confidant, this is putting you in a category in her mind as being that friend, that shoulder to cry on. Now, I know there's an old saying, a shoulder to cry on becomes a dick to ride on. And in my experience working with men over the years and in my own life, that is very rare that happens. And this leads us to the second reason why you may be consistently getting friend zoned, is that you are hiding your attraction. You're hiding your desire. On some level, maybe earlier in your life, you were taught that male sexuality is a bad thing. All men are creeps or whatever. I don't want to use the words in case YouTube censors me, but you were taught on some level that your sexuality and desire had to be hidden and women don't like seeing it and all this other stuff. Maybe you were taught this by your mother in some subtle way. Maybe you had female siblings, you had sisters, and maybe you heard this sort of anti-male messaging, this rhetoric all throughout your life. But how frustrating is that now you've grown up and you're an adult and you're seeing that being this nice man who's hiding his attraction, that sort of primal desire, you're hiding it and it's just not working. You were taught something that's not working in your life, and that's frustrating as hell, isn't it? So what do you do differently, mate? Stop hiding your attraction. Does this mean you've got to start chasing women around ooga booga? No, absolutely not. But there are ways and means of expressing your desire for women. And this is what the art of flirting is all about. It is subtly, subconsciously, subcommunicating your interest beyond friendship with the women in your life. But the techniques and sort of the ways of doing that are for a different video. But maybe you can just try making a little more eye contact, maybe a half smirk, communicating your interest non-verbally. Try that. And the third reason you may be getting friend zoned is that you are waiting for permission instead of leading the interaction. For example, let's say you match with a woman on a dating app. Instead of saying, I'll meet you at this cocktail bar at this time on Wednesday, how does that work for you? You might be saying, what would you like to do? Where would you like to go? What kind of food do you like? What bars do you like to go to? What activity do you want to go to? This, to your nice guy programming, might sound like being considerate and caring, and on some level it is, because you're empathic. You're an empathic man. You're most likely a kind man, a good man. But what it reads to her as, you are a boy waiting for mummy to lead you around, to approve of you, because you on some level do not approve of yourself in your own decisions and your own choices. This is not an attractive characteristic or a quality to a woman. So what you can do instead is you can start embodying the principle of healthy masculine leadership. Now, in practice, this means having a date, having a time, leading the interaction first, not waiting around in these long ass dating app conversations hoping that she's going to sort of invite you out. No, it's knowing what you want. If you're attracted to her, letting her know in some way. If you want to meet up with her, making that happen. If there's a new restaurant or a bar or something or an activity you've been waiting to do for yourself, invite her along for that and allow your passion for that to come through. It's this whole idea of breaking this mother-boy dynamic and changing it to a man-to-woman dynamic. But one thing I want to say, I want to leave you with this, is polarize. It's the idea of polarization, right? When you are friend zoned, it's because on some level what happened is you didn't polarize her early in the interaction. And a principle I want to leave you with, mate, is get to rejection quicker. Get to rejection quicker. Don't linger in this safe middle zone. The middle grey area is where you get friend zoned. What I want you to do is start flirting early, expressing your attraction early. You will get more of a no, and you're afraid of rejection, most likely. This is probably one of the reasons why you're struggling with this in the first place, one of the core reasons you fear rejection. But I want you to start getting more no's, right? Because when you get more no's, paradoxically, you actually end up getting more yeses. The truth is, mate, you don't need to overanalyze everything. You don't need to spend endless hours on YouTube watching these pickup artist techniques and all this kind of like deconstructing the living shit out of every interaction. That causes its own problems that I'll get into in another video. But ultimately, man, the way women show up in your life is a result of who you are at your core identity and how you show up in the world. And that's exactly what we work on, what I work with men on in a one-to-one basis in my coaching. And I also go through this in the free 5-day Kill the Nice Guy email course that I created for you. So if you want to check out either of those things, working with me or the free course, then click the link in the pinned comment down below, check out the description below, and I hope you find something that works for you. Stay courageous, brother, and I will see you in the next video.